Hi everybody, how you doing? Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. We had some rain today. Remember that stuff that comes from the sky, comes down? A little weather extra for you. Let's get it done. So we had some storms today that produced some dime-sized hail. It was Hailmageddon here at the station. Yep, about 4 o'clock. Everybody was talking about it. Good old size hail coming down, dime size. I pointed out to the outside area because it was happening outside, not inside. And rain was coming down pretty good too. There were some reports of some strong gusty winds. The storms a few of them were warned for a little while. There was some wind damage and trees reported down in Jackson County, and one big tree down near Zert Road, some siding off of a house in Triana. Damage reports were minimal, but still shows that those storms were pretty strong and warranted the severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service posted. Probably at first more for hail, and then the winds picked up with it. There was also a strong storm near Fort Payne at one point too. So a little oomph with some rain today, but when you look at the radar right there, you can see that most of the rain has shifted south. Besides a stray little light shower still out there possibly, we're pretty much done with the rain for today. If you missed out, it was a big miss because today was a little extra. I think the coverage was a little more than what we anticipated, but we'll take the rain when we can get it, right? Not a bad thing. But I think at first, when I first came in today, and I felt this way when I even was talking about the storms, the temperatures were probably more of the headline. Before the storms hit, we were like 91, 92, 93 across the board. When then the storm hit the airport in Meridianville, and the temperature dropped to 74 degrees in like an hour. So some of the areas that had storms got a little break from the heat in the afternoon. If you missed out on the storms and the rainfall, you stayed hot all afternoon, and many locations actually did hit 90 degrees today. Those temperatures have tumbled back now to around 70. But one thing that I noticed when I was outside this evening, when I went home to have dinner, the dew points are a little high. And many of you were talking about that with me on Facebook earlier today. The dew point temperatures were in the mid to upper 60s. When they're that high, and they get closer to 70, you start to feel the humidity a bit more. And it's certainly more today than it was yesterday. And throughout the day tomorrow, we'll still be really hot. I'll talk about the forecast for the rest of the week and weekend. But the dew point temperature will drop a little bit as we go to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's still going to be hot, but the humidity will drop just enough where it won't quite be like this, but it will still feel a little humid as we go into the weekend. You know, when the temperatures are near 90 degrees or hitting 90s, and many of you want that fall-like feel at this point, right? I get it. You know, fall arrives technically on Monday, and there are some cooler temperatures in the forecast. I'll show you the 10-day coming up, but probably very frustrating for some of you when you wanted to feel a little more fall-like, and we got 90s like every day through Sunday, right? Might even have to push those 90s into Monday and Tuesday before some change comes by Wednesday, but it all times out with a frontal boundary for next week. And of course, as we get deeper into the weekend and we can focus on next week's forecast, we'll fine tune that a bit for you. So I went mainly clear for tonight. I still think there'll be some areas of patchy fog, especially for those of you who had some rain today. I don't think it's a widespread issue, but don't be surprised if Eric Burke on air tomorrow morning is talking about a little fog across the area. Temperatures mid-60s. And then tomorrow, we do it again with the heat, but no showers. I think any kind of isolated showers will be mainly south of our area. And so I went 90s for tomorrow and keep the 90s coming for Friday. It'll be a warm night for high school football. Kickoff will be about 82, falling into the 70s throughout the game. Hope your favorite high school team wins. And then Saturday, a few little isolated showers, but right now, coverage doesn't look all that impressive. I still think the heat's the headline, low 90s. We'll keep it going for Sunday, too. Temperatures once again around 90, slight chance of a shower. And then fall arrives on Monday. We drop the temperature starting on Tuesday. That might be a little bit too quick. Might have to bump Monday and Tuesday up a little bit because I don't think we really see the change in the temperature until Wednesday, but we'll fine tune that. But there is light at the end of the tunnel for those of you who are tired of the 90-plus heat. We will get back into some 80s next week. Whether it happens on Monday or happens more towards Wednesday, we'll time that out. It all comes down to a frontal boundary that will be moving through. Nonetheless, fall officially does arrive on Monday, regardless of what happens with the front and the temperatures. And fall arrives, I think, sometime in the afternoon. I think it's around like 1:19 local time. So. But overall, not a real fall-like feel until we actually get to next week. Update for you on the tropics too. It's been a very quiet tropical season. Knock on wood. We want to keep it that way, of course. And the tropics right now have a new system. It's Tropical Storm Gabrielle. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Seventh named system in the Atlantic this year. Has the potential to become the second hurricane this year. Aaron being the first. Gabrielle is forecast to become a Cat 1 hurricane sometime by Saturday or Sunday. At this point, it looks like it would have an impact on the island of Bermuda by next Monday. It does not look like it will impact the lower 48, certainly not the Tennessee Valley, but it is another named system. We are in peak hurricane season, or at the tail end of peak, but the hurricane season runs all the way till the end of November. And 7 named systems is a very low, quiet tropical system. Tropical season, rather, with very little tropical systems that have been named so far. So hopefully that trend will continue and we won't have to worry about any widespread tropical development for the next month or two. So there's your 10-day, and I'm secretly eating a milkshake on the side, so don't tell anybody that. 90-degree heat makes me crave milkshakes. I don't know why, but they do. But I think the one thing to take from that 10-day forecast, I mean, obviously everyone's focused on the temperatures because everyone wants it to feel a little more fall-like, and I get it. But unfortunately, I think probably what might be more of a concern, not the temperatures, but the lack of rainfall in that 10-day forecast. Like I said, if you missed out on the rain today, it's a huge bummer because there's not a lot of rain in that forecast. Saturday and Sunday looks real low. And depending on when the front comes through next week, maybe sparks a little bit of shower activity Monday and Tuesday. Might even be more like Tuesday, Wednesday at this point. But nonetheless, there's not a lot of rain there. So a lot of you telling me that your yard is getting crunchy. You feel like you haven't had rain in months. And probably very frustrating if you were one of those locations that missed out on the rain today. Some areas did really well. I mean, it poured here at the station. It was so loud. Between about 3 o'clock, we do a fast cast, and Liz Hurley and I are in the studio. And I could barely hear her talk. Like, it was really coming down, and I could hear ting, 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 ting. I could hear a little hail hitting the roof. But overall, these downpours are so localized. So if you had that heavy rainfall, great. But if you missed out, I mean, the town next to you probably got soaked, and you just didn't have anything. So unfortunately, that's the way it kind of works out with thunderstorm activity. And it was actually an overperforming day today. I didn't think the coverage would be that high. I didn't work Monday or Tuesday. I didn't really look closely at it until I came into work today. But I figured that the coverage would be a bit less than what it was. So we got a little more rain than we thought, which is good. New drought monitor will get updated tomorrow. Eric Burke will probably share that with you all. It doesn't come out until after the morning show. It, of course, comes out during the cut-ins. But he'll probably talk about that and post something on his Facebook page when they release it. I expect the colors will get a little brighter. We haven't had much rain since the last update, so probably get a little bit worse before it gets better. But okay, very cool. So we are on air at 10 o'clock, and we will have the very latest for you. I'll have another weather update. Carl's going to cover sports, and of course, Margot will have the updated news stories for you. And we look forward to you joining us at 10 o'clock. Eric Burke will be back tomorrow morning, as I mentioned. He'll be tracking maybe a little fog to start the day, update the forecast on Friday and the weekend, maybe tweak a little bit of next week too. And then I'm back in for Brad again tomorrow night, and we'll have more coverage of what you can expect for the weekend. A lot of events take place in the Tennessee Valley in the month of September and October, and a lot of those events are outside. So if you're going to be in one of those events, whether it's a 5K or if it's some kind of like fest, everything has a fest in it at this point. It's either October Fest or September Fest or Fall Fest. There's a lot of them across the area. Probably want to think about more like treating it like a summer day than a fall day this weekend, even though fall's right around the corner with those temperatures around 90 degrees. So, hey, don't knock your microphone over, Jeff. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your night. Have an awesome end to your week. And weekend's almost here, which is really good. We'll see you on air at 10 o'clock. And for now, everybody have a fantastic night.